Okay, welcome back, everybody, to Old School Sports with Mike and the Hammer, and still another great show for you today. We got the Celtics, the Bruins, the Red Sox, a little bit of draft, NFL draft, and of course, the story that will never go away, Mike Vrabel and Dianna Russini. Hammer, before we get going here, I noticed you're tired today. Oakland A's, what's with that?
Well, Mike, when you're in first place and running away with the division, you got to wear the stuff. And I got a feeling I'm going to be very negative today. So I needed something positive. And this is very positive, being in first place.
I got to say, you're styling. You're styling today. I like it.
Yes.
I like it.
So, I mean, most of the stuff we're going to talk about is very negative, at least on my side of it.
I'll try to buffer
this
that.
Is something very positive.
I'll try to buffer
this
that.
This is a Cinderella story of baseball right now.
Okay.
But
I'll try to buffer your negative.
All right.
Negative.
All right, what do you got? Let's start with the Celtics.
Well, the Celtics, the first game, hey, complete game from start to finish. They look great. Tatum and Brown were great. Tatum's best game yet, back from his injury. He looked fabulous, you know. And I love the "We Want Boston" chants because that's what Philly was doing. You know, when they beat who'd they beat, Orlando or somebody? When it was "We Want Boston." You know, I loved all that. But what a difference a game makes. And the game two starts, right? Well, first off, in the first game, the defense actually won the game. Defensively, they were awesome. But last night, it's all to do with the shooting. When a team shoots better from three than they do from two, you're gonna lose. The other team's gonna lose. I mean, they shot 48% from the field. They shot 49 from three. When do you ever see that? Never.
Especially from Philadelphia, because the last couple months of the season, they were a worst three-point shooting team in basketball. And they got hot last night. But last night was part of the Celtics' fault, too. I know they were hitting their shots, Philadelphia. Your defense wasn't like it was in the first game. But let's look at the Celtics stats, okay? Yeah. They morphed back into the idiots they are, really. Because they were 22 for 39, 56% shooting two-pointers. But last night was the dumb old, let's jack up threes all night and keep missing, 13 for 50, 26%. That's why they lost.
And you're right about Philly. I mean, they shot 49 from three. In their first game, they shot 17%. You're right about being the worst three-point shooting team. Yeah. And what happened? I don't know. The first game, the Celtics defense was swarming. I didn't see that last night.
I didn't either, because you know what? Everybody told them how easy it was going to be. And they believed it. Yeah. And the thing is, they do this all the time. They were a 14.5-point favorite last night. 14.5-point favorites do not lose. Wow. They won the first game by 32 points. They were up 13 points in like the first quarter. And you're like, oh, well, they're going to beat them by 30 again. No. Then they decided to get lazy and take dumbass shots.
I go back to 1985. The Celtics had come off a championship year. The very first game in the finals against the Lakers, I think they won by like 35 points, and everybody, you know, Dan Shaughnessy included, all the sports writers. That's why I'm blaming it on the media. All these pugnates are saying it's all over, it's all over. Well, Philadelphia, they got some pride, and they got some good players, and they read the sports section too, you know. So as you know, on that Celtics-Lakers thing, the Lakers won that series in 6 games. You know, right. Just because, hey, the Celtics only won one game Sunday. It doesn't matter if they won by 32 or 1 point. They only won one game, and that's the battle cry. And it just showed what the attitude of the media what it can create out there. It created a monster, and they started to believe in their press clippings. You know?
Well, I also blame the coach. And, you know, he's supposed to be up for Coach of the Year. Yeah. This is one of the reasons I've said he does a great job, but he's not a good game manager. How many runs did Philadelphia go on last night? 8-0 run, 10, 12 points, consecutive points. He never calls a timeout to stop that. So when they had the 13-point lead, Philly ripped off 12 consecutive points. And the thing is, he didn't use the bench like he usually loses it last night. You know, in the playoffs, you always shorten the bench a little. But if your bench is this strong, and they played a lot in game one, play them.
Great point. I'm watching the game with my wife, and they got it down to 2 points, and she got all excited and everything. All of a sudden, I think she went to the bathroom or something, and they went on an 11-0 run. And she said, what happened?
I'll tell you what happened. You want to talk about what happened?
Yeah.
Celtics down 2. They get the ball. They come down the court, and no ball movement. Tatum just jacks up a ridiculous 3, you know. Long rebound, fast break, boom. Now you're down 5, and then it went to 8, and then it went to 11. But the thing is, that's how they play with Tatum. Is you know, right then, you get the momentum. The crowd's going crazy. You've been down the whole game, you know, since the first quarter. You cut it to 2, and you come down and take a quick, stupid 3. Why not move that ball around and go to the hoop? I mean, Brown had a great game. What did he get, like 35 points? Tatum had like 19. I mean, give the ball to Brown. He's your leader.
If you look at the stats, if you want to go with stats, I think, yeah, Tatum had 19 points, but I think he had 14 boards and like 11 assists. And you look like he must have had a great game. Not really. Not really, because he's jacking up the threes. Oh, on the first game, though, where he had 26 points, he basically his three-point shooting was just as bad as last night's.
But the difference was he was going to the hoop, and he was
mid-range.
being aggressive. He could have easily, you know, you're down 2. Yeah, don't take a stupid 3. Go to the hoop, get fouled, go to the line, tie the game up. That was a momentum switch right there. And even the announcer said, that's a 5-point switch right there, 5-point swing.
Here's what they should have done. Set up 2. They got it down to 2, right? The next thing you know, that Philly hits a 3, and then now it's like 5 points. Timeout right there.
But he doesn't do it.
That's what the guy in Miami would do.
Right.
The good coaches say, we got to stop this right now.
Yeah,
right
Missoula
now.
doesn't.
No.
He just falls asleep there, or he wants them to work their way out of it. But you know what? You know how it is. It's matchups in basketball. If things aren't working, call a timeout. You know, break the momentum. But he doesn't do it. He just lets it continue to snowball and snowball.
Yeah. So I think the
that.
media actually had a lot to do with this on both sides of the ball. I think the media, by praising the Celtics, I think the Celtics starting to believe it. You know, they believe in what they're reading, and the other side of it, it really pissed off Philly. I mean, Philly has some legit players. I mean, we were talking about earlier, Paul George. I mean, he's a little long in the tooth, but he's still a legitimate player in the league. Maxi's an all-star, and this kid, Edgecombe, is going to be a superstar, I believe. So they have some players there.
They do.
And they have some pride. So they're not going to lay down.
They're not, but to blame the media for them losing because they believe what they read, that is ridiculous in my eyes, because you know what? You have to play the game. You don't listen to what anyone else says.
But they do. They do.
Well, then
subliminally or subconsciously, it's in you. It's like, oh my God, you start believing the press clippings that, hey, maybe we are all that.
Then they're a weak-minded team if they can't do it.
I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying
what
they're
happens
not.
if the media says you suck? Are they going to then lose?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's like, that to me is an excuse of why they lost. This team always loses home playoff games. Last year when they played the Knicks, they lost the first 2 at home. You know what I mean? And going back years and years and years, they always lose one of the first 2 games at home. They're always, it seems like, have home court advantage, and they always leave Boston 1-1. You know, they do not protect home court, and if anything, in basketball, home court
is huge.
Is huge more than any other sport.
Yeah, it is.
But the Celtics find a way to lose against inferior teams. Like I said, 14.5-point underdogs. That's outrageous. They're playing in Philadelphia the next game, right? Was it Friday night?
Yep.
They're favored by 7.5. A home team underdog by 7.5. These teams are night and day. But the Celtics are going to keep them in the series because that's what they do.
Yeah, and I think the Celtics still will prevail because there's no way that Philly's going to shoot the ball like they shot it last night. And so I think they'll be fine, but forget about this sweep or gentleman's sweep that they were talking about. It's going to be 6 or 7, but I think they have the better team, and I think they will prevail.
Well, I think if they go 7, it's embarrassing because they're missing their best player, Embiid.
I think Embiid might be back.
He ain't coming back.
You watch.
No.
Watch.
Not unless there's some miracle as far as modern medicine. There is no way. He just had surgery. He is not coming back.
It's arthroscopic. It's laparoscopic. There's no, like, I had my appendix out. I got a big scar and everything, right? This thing is just like a little hole that inserted, laparoscopic surgery.
Yeah.
It's totally different. He's going to be back.
I still think you need to run in the NBA. You need to elbow, work your way for rebounds. You need to jump up and get rebounds. You don't think that's going to hurt that incision spot? I'm telling you.
It's modern medicine, Tom.
All right.
Hey, I think we're over our time, so let's move on. How about your Boston Bruins?
Oh, my God, what a roller coaster.
Yeah.
So there I was, watching the game with the beer. Game 1 against Buffalo.
Larry the Bear.
He's on top of the world. And then I even said to him, it's 2-0 Bruins late in the third period, 8 minutes to go. They're looking great. They're playing in Buffalo, and Buffalo's the number 2 seed, and the Bruins are the number 7 seed. So the Bruins are big underdogs in this series. But they're winning 2-0 with 8 minutes to go in the game. And I asked Larry the Bear, who's the biggest Bruins fan in the world, and I said, what do you think? He goes, They have a tendency of blowing games late in the third. And then bingo, 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 3 goals in like 3 minutes. They had an empty net goal. The Bruins lose. Actually, Bruins got a crappy power play goal with 10 seconds left. They lost 4-3. But it's the first time in the history of NHL playoffs, which has been going on for 200 years, that a hockey team was winning 2-0 or more. Like the other team hadn't scored a goal yet.
Yeah.
With 8 minutes left in the game. No team has ever come back and won in regulation. They've won it when the game, they've tied it 2-2 and gone into overtime. That's how bad of a collapse it was. It was mind-boggling.
Yeah,
to me.
I read in the paper that they were up. They gave up 3 goals in a span of 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and the Swayman had played a great game up until then, and then he turned into Tuukka Rask. He couldn't stop the puck.
Yeah.
3 shots, 4 shots, 3 goals, and a couple of them were softies.
Man, he's got extreme highs and lows. Huh?
He does, and it's usually the lows are at the end of the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
He makes all the saves in the first and second period and halfway through the third. But then you're like, oh, wow, what a demoralizing loss, right?
Yeah.
But last night they came back and they got up 4-0 in Buffalo. I mean, Geekie scored a goal from center ice, and then they ended up taking the goalie out on the other team because it was just a backward flip, and he missed it. It was like from half ice. So the Bruins went up 4-0, and once again, late in the third, goal. Now it's 4-2, 5 minutes left. Bruins are running around with chickens with their heads cut off, and Swayman had to make a couple big saves, and they survived. So the good news is you wanted to go to Buffalo, you wanted to win a game, and they did it. So they're 1-1, heading back to Boston in a 4 out of 7 series. So they got a shot. They got a shot to win the series.
Nice.
And the reason why, because Buffalo is 0 for 31 in power plays in their last 3 games. So if you're the Bruins, like last night there was a lot of fights, a lot of penalties, just keep taking penalties. Who cares? Because Buffalo's not going to score in the power play.
0 for 31.
Yeah.
That's some stat.
I know.
I put it on because I watched the Celtics. I put the Bruins on. They were up 4-0. I said, hey, I'm bothered. They're all set here. And then I see in the paper this morning it was 4-2. So
Yeah, so I would say that don't ever give up on the Bruins as far as them with a lead because they can give it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But the thing is, the Bruins, if hockey is anything, it's the better goalie should win, right?
Yes,
Buffalo's got the
yes.
better team. The Bruins got the better goalie.
Yeah.
So let's see how it shakes out.
that's how it usually plays out. Better goalie wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Tim Thomas.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Okay, let's go to the Red Sox.
Oh my gosh, do we have to?
Well, let's have a bright note. Let's talk about your A's real quick. Go ahead.
Right. Well, the A's, they're on a roll, man. They've gone into Seattle, who won the division last year and was 1 game away from going to the World Series. So they're the best team in the American League, I think.
Okay.
And Oakland beat them 2 straight in Seattle. And
Okay.
so they're leading that division right now. And the A's are beating all the iron. They beat the Yankees 2 out of 3. They beat the Mets 3-0, and they beat Seattle 2-0.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it's like they've had a murderous schedule, yet they're in first place. So, Mike, can you throw up the standings like right now, and then we'll get into the Red Sox? I mean, what a beautiful sight, seeing the A's on top and the Red Sox, unfortunately, are in last. So let's talk about the Red Sox.
Okay. So what about the Red Sox? Sonny Gray the other day, he has an injury with hamstrings. Anything serious?
I was at that game. I saw him get an owie. I saw him throw a pitch and he grabbed his hamstring, and we probably won't see him till June because baseball players, I mean, anything that goes, if you get a hangnail, they're gone for 2 months.
How much time would a hockey player miss from this injury?
They would probably miss 1 or 2 shifts. But Sonny Gray will be out probably till June. They said they were doing an MRI on it and everything looked really good, but they'll still put him on the IR list and he'll be back later. And unfortunately, he's the only guy that was pitching any good. I mean, Suarez has pitched good the last 2 times out.
Yeah.
But Sonny Gray's actually pitched pretty well for you.
Yeah. Did they bring up Peyton Tolley? There were rumors they were going to bring him up.
Yeah, I think they got to wait because they're going to need a starter, towards the end of the week.
Okay.
I mean, right now they're in a series with the Yankees and they're going to get swept probably. I mean, they got shut out 4-0 last night.
Yeah.
They played Detroit over the weekend. They split 2-2. I mean, they're facing good pitching. And when you have an offense that is as bad as the Red Sox, you get no chance to score any runs.
Yeah. Hey, what about this Yankee pitcher, this Walpole guy, Cam, what's his name? Slitzer?
Yeah.
He's receiving death threats. Anything to that?
I don't
He's
know.
from Walpole, right?
He is from Walpole. He's actually pitched against the Red Sox in the playoffs last year. He's the guy that eliminated them in Game 3, and he's a local kid from Walpole. So it is he's coming back home to pitch the game on Thursday.
Yeah.
And he's saying on his social media, a Red Sox fan was posting some stuff death threats and stuff like that. And I mean, there's always
They always got to have a nut job in every
there's always
city.
nuts out there that exactly.
Yeah, everywhere.
And it's not like the whole Red Sox fandom is doing that. I mean,
Right.
a lot of people, I mean, I'm happy for the kid, a
Sure.
local kid.
Yeah.
It's hard for a person from Boston to make it to the major leagues because you only have 3 or 4 good months of sunshine.
Yeah, I know.
In warm weather.
Yeah, usually these players that make the big leagues are from California, Arizona, Texas.
Florida, Texas.
Yeah.
So it's great that a guy from Canton's own Bobby Witt, another pitcher, that from Canton, Massachusetts.
Doesn't happen too often, right?
No, but that's the thing. And it's like, you should be happy for him. But there's some lunatic Red Sox fan that actually is posting some crap. Hopefully, the way social media is, you can pinpoint who this person is and hunt them down and get them for threats.
Yeah.
So, but I want to talk about the Red Sox offense. Oh my gosh.
What offense?
Yeah, they're 26th in runs scored. They're 29th in home runs, and they get a .229 batting average, which is unbelievable how bad it is. Mike, can you put up? Oh no, you already put up the standings. Then they're 9-14. They're in last place.
5 games out, though. They're only 5 games out, Tom.
Yeah, they're going to be 7 out by the next 2 Yankee games. Okay, they have 4 guys in their lineup that are batting under 200. Story at 189, Meyer at 196, Duran 162, and Durbin at 155. That's unbelievable. So for a team that you need to string together 3 hits to score a run because you're getting home runs, how the hell are you going to do it with this lineup?
Yeah.
And then they have Anthony at 225, Monasterio at 214, and Navarro at 240. I mean, 7 out of your 9 starters are,
225 or less, right?
yeah, how in the world are you going to score any runs? And they don't. So now I say you need a shakeup. And you can get rid of the manager. Why not, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
I think he's lost interest. But it's the hitting coach, this Peter False guy. Since 2021, he's been the hitting coach. They've sucked since 2021, all right? Dylan Lawson is the assistant coach. Fire him. John
everybody.
Sotopoulos. He's a major league. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Never heard of him. But he's the assistant major league hitting coach. Fire him. And Joe Cronin, not the good Joe Cronin, the baseball player that had a Hall of Fame career. This guy, Joe Cronin, is the Major League Baseball hitting strategist. Well, first of all, Joe, your strategy stinks because this team can't hit the ball.
But, Tom, this team was built on pitching and defense, not hitting. What do you say to that?
I say that if these guys had career averages of what they're doing this year, they wouldn't have made the major leagues. So whatever his hitting philosophy is, it ain't working.
No.
And last year, if you remember, one of the players on the team, I think it was Roman Anthony, was it him, who asked Jim Rice for advice? And one of these little peons, one of these nobodies, whether it was Lawson or
I
whoever,
remember this.
walked up to Jim Rice and said, "That's not the way we teach hitting." Jim Rice, freaking Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer, yeah.
Red Sox Hall of Famer, a major star for the team, there to help. And they told him, no, we don't need your help. We got it. Some guy that was probably stuffed in his locker, some nerd
Stuffed in
that
his
was
locker.
a peon in high school, never played a game in his life, is telling Jim Rice about hitting.
Yeah, to butt out, bud. We're the hitting coaches, not you.
Yeah,
So what do you know?
The whole team is in disarray. It's a disaster.
Yeah.
And it starts there because everything's analytics, and whatever happened to the eyeball test?
I love the eyeball test.
I mean, I can go to a game and I can watch and I can tell you, oh, this guy here, he's supposed to be the star, but I like this guy better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And there's so many guys on the Red Sox, I wouldn't even give them a second look if I was a scout.
How many players in all sports with these scouts, they go scout a player, but just like you're talking about, they end up seeing somebody else. That happens all the time.
Yeah.
There's the eyeball test. The
Right.
analytics weren't there because the player wasn't even on the stat sheet.
Right.
Wait, who's this guy? This guy's opening my eyes here. Right?
Yeah, I always go back to, since it's old school sports, Carlton Fisk. He wasn't a good hitter in the minor leagues. And, when he finally got to the major leagues, became a huge star and a Hall of Famer, he said, the lighting in the minor leagues isn't as good.
Oh, but he's from New Hampshire.
Right.
What do you have, 2 months to play?
Yeah, right, exactly. And plus you're riding buses and this and that, and he's a catcher, So it's kind of like sometimes, you have big stats in the minor leagues, you get up and you stink, and other times you don't have such great stats, but you're a ball player and you make it into the major leagues. I'm just saying that these guys have all regressed under this current hitting coach.
Well, I had a question for you. Like, what player, if you're an opposing manager, what player do you fear? A hitter on the Red Sox do you fear, if anybody?
Well, probably Contreras. But here's the thing, it's his first year here.
Yeah.
So these horrible batting coaches haven't gotten in his head yet and changed anything he does.
Okay.
I mean, I think he's leading the team in home runs and stuff. I think 4 homers, 12 RBIs.
Yeah.
And but they'll get to him. They'll turn him into a crappy player too. Because they've certainly done it with Anthony. He's regressed and all these other stars. Look at Christian Campbell. Last year he came up, made the team out of spring training. And there's different hitting coaches in the minors than there are in the majors. So he made the team, Christian Campbell as a second baseman, hitting the crap out of the ball in spring training, gets to the major leagues, and they change things around and he can't hit the ball anymore.
He's not going to give those checks back, though.
Certainly not.
No.
So, but that's all I get.
All right, let's go. You want to touch on the draft a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's different than last year. Last year, the Patriots had the 4th pick, and it was exciting. Are
Big
they going to
excitement.
move up?
Yeah.
Who are they going to draft?
Right.
I mean, this year, we know they need a tight end. They need an offensive tackle. They need edge rushers. There's a ton of edge rushers and a ton of offensive tackles that are going to be there at 31 that are decent players.
Right.
But as Elliott Wolf said a few weeks ago, it's not the greatest draft. It's after you get past out of the top 10, it's pretty much levels out. So if you get any of these guys, you know, you'll be fine.
So what's the biggest need? I think it's an edge rusher, although they're saying their first-round pick's probably going to be the like offensive tackle. But I think they need an edge rusher.
Well, I think you really got to button up that line. We saw in the Super Bowl that they couldn't block anybody.
Yeah.
And if you're moving Wilson to center, you're going to need like a tackle.
Yeah.
So I would go there first. I mean, edge rushing, you can scheme things up. I mean, last year, you know, Chason had a big year and he really hadn't done much because it was just a scheme.
They shut him down.
You know, you still have Bonwell back there. But I think you can get an edge rusher in the 2nd round. I mean, because it is pretty much leveled out. But what we're going to do is, Cameraman Mike, I mean, we've put him, there's so much stuff going on in sports, whether it's, you know, the Vrabel thing, the Red Sox, the Bruins, or so, that Cameraman Mike is going to dig into this draft.
He should.
He's going to analyze it, and he's going to have a segment coming up in a couple seconds that's going to break everything down, what the Patriots should do, what he's hearing, because he has people that, you know, that work for the Patriots and stuff, and what he's hearing as far as who they should draft and who they will draft.
So he doesn't just do fantasy football. He's going to break down the draft for us.
Well, that's true, but that's part of fantasy football, though, because these are the guys that in your fantasy league are going to cost you cheaper money, or guys you want to know about that are coming into the league.
Okay.
So because he's in a few leagues and stuff like that, this is right on his, this is in his wheelhouse.
This is you got to see this segment.
All right, so Mike, hit the segment.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your favorite cameraman Mike, and yes, it is good to be back. Haven't been here since fantasy football season. But yeah, let's start, before we go any further, let's talk about last year's draft and why it was so great. Drafting guys like Will Campbell, Travion Henderson, Kyle Williams, Jared Wilson, Craig Woodson, the steal of the draft, and boy, did he not disappoint us. And then you were even able to leave with guys like Andrew Borregales. That's an A-plus draft right now. We don't know how it's going to age. But a lot of good building blocks, a lot of good future, and I'm hoping the Patriots draft like that again this year, and these are some guys that I think they should be looking at. For starters, yes, we've all seen the video with Mike Vrabel. This is Max Ian Haker. Whew, that's a tough one to say. We've all seen the video of him working with Mike Vrabel at the Arizona State Pro Day, with him testing his core strength. I think it'd be a good option to explore looking for a replacement for Morgan Moses. I think it could potentially wait another year just because, you know, Moses is still here and he looked great last year. But he does have injury history, and it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Next up, let's talk about another one of their top 30 visits. Yeah, I know, boo. This is KC Conception, a receiver from Texas A&M. This guy is unbelievable. He runs the crispest of routes. He would be Drake May's best friend. I just think we all kind of have PTSD from first-round receivers, rightfully so. But I think if the Patriots drafted this kid, I don't think anyone would be upset. Next up, yeah, this is a safety. This is Emmanuel McNeil Warren, and he is something special. Mike Vrabel had extensive conversations with him, and he would really fit the the next guy up, kind of, looking for somebody after Kevin Byard. Because how long do you think Kevin Byard has? Even though he just was first-team All-Pro and led the league in interceptions, it's not exactly a bad thing to have somebody waiting. Sticking with safeties. This is Dylan Fenneman from Oregon. He is a hybrid safety. He can do just about everything, and he would be a defensive chess piece for Mike Vrabel. I would be very, very interested to see what he does with him and how well it looks. Next up, this is Blake Miller. I'm going to put him up there. I really don't think he's going to be there. We'd probably have to trade up for him. He's a really good Clemson offensive tackle. Same thing, though. Do we really need an offensive tackle this year? It's nice, but I don't know if it's needed. A few other edges they've been looking at are Derek Moore, Cassius Howell, and Malachi Lawrence, who has a ton of hype. But, I mean, before I jump into my favorite prospect, I should give some flowers to a guy that the Patriots have met extensively with. This is Oscar Delp, the tight end from Georgia, and people love him. You're going to see people call him the next Brock Bowers. He is not the next Brock Bowers. Do not get your hopes up. But he does have a lot of hype. Next up, best for last, my favorite prospect. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Eli Stowers. The Patriots are absolutely in love with the tight end from Vanderbilt. The quarterback converted receiver, converted tight end. He did everything before he played at, let's see if anybody knows, Vanderbilt. That's right, he played with Diego Pavia. He was also the driving force of the game that Vanderbilt beat Alabama in. That was his coming out party. He's met extensively with the Patriots a few times, and he just had an exit meeting with them. If he ends up in New England, I'm going to say it, I think he's going to have a Jimmy Graham type effect. I think he's going to be one of those tweeners, a little bigger, like a really big receiver, smaller tight end, but the guy's going to catch the ball. He's going to make things happen. And I don't think 31's too early for him. I don't. I know he's like a round 2, round 3 prospect. I think he's a quarterback's best friend. He is a quarterback. He knows what they want. I think he's only growing. I think he is so underdeveloped, and I can't wait for a tight ends coach to really just dig into him and mold him into the perfect prospect that he could be. Back to Tom and Mike. Let's hope that draft day goes our way.
Wow.
That was good.
So I wonder if they're going to take that Stowers, from Vanderbilt. I mean, Mike's really high on him.
He is, yeah.
I don't know.
Tight end.
The problem is his name's Eli. And when I hear Eli, I think of Eli Manning, and I think of losing 2 Super Bowls. So that kind of scares me. But whatever. But, hey, he's got his sources, and it was a great segment. So
awesome.
Let's go to the story that will never end.
Vrabel, right?
Yeah. Vrabel Russini. I think it's winding down finally, though.
Okay.
It really is.
All right.
So let's do the timeline on this.
Go ahead.
Okay, more information has come out, and I think this is it. There can't be any more. So now we're finding out that the New York Post had a reporter go to Dianna Russini's house on Easter Sunday. I mean, that must have been tough. You get a knock on your door. Hey, I'm from the Post. I got a few pictures of you shacking up with the Patriots head coach. What do you got to say about it?
Was her husband home?
Oh, yeah, he was with the kids, opening, coloring eggs and stuff like that. So, yeah, so she's like, I got nothing to say. She immediately got on the phone to a crisis manager, right? She also called, the New York Post. And so all they said was, the reporter said, we're not going to post this. If you can show us texts from your friends, pictures from your trip.
Your mountain climbing.
Yeah, even like an Uber receipt, something, give us something. And then she said, I'll get back to you. They gave her till Tuesday, okay? She got on the phone with Vrabel. Oh boy, the gig is up. What are we gonna do? So they both released a statement. Hers is, I was back, hiking and stuff. Vrabel said, this is a ridiculous story, we were with other people. And then Vrabel got on the phone with Bob Kraft. Bob Kraft, this is like soap opera central, right?
Was he at the massage parlor?
Not this time. Bob Kraft's friends with Rupert Murdoch, who owns the Post.
Yeah.
And he said, don't post this story, talk to your reporters. And then Murdoch said, I'll give you their information, you talk to them, and you figure out if you can
But he
squash the story.
wasn't going to squash it himself.
No, because the Post is all tabloid stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So he's not.
He lives for that.
He is not going to stop his reporters, which is I'll give him credit for that, even though Kraft's a good friend of his. He's not going to squash the story. But he said, if you talk to the reporter and the cameraman and they decide to squash the story, I'm with you. So Kraft sent two of his hoodlums to do it.
Hitmen.
Vinny and Rocco. They went down there.
Vinny and Rocco.
And they wanted to try to convince him not to post the story. And they said, screw
we
you. We got a great story here.
We can make life tough on you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So then, And then when they were going to post it, then they went into crisis mode. Like I said, they hired the crisis manager, the CEO, Meredith Levine, who works for the New York Times, which is the parent company of The Athletic, who Russini works for.
Right.
And they told her about it. What are we going to do? And they're like, do you have anything to, squash it?
Sure.
I don't have any pitches. Well, we're washing our hands of that. Then Meredith makes a call and says, investigate this, because The Athletic wasn't going to investigate it. And then she had no pitches to give. So there you go. So, Mike, throw this Russini clip up. She said so many things over the years, that are so bad.
Sounds like she hates her husband.
I know. And the thing is, it demeans him, makes him look like a jabroni, right?
Yeah.
And it's just bad. I understand wanting to be one of the guys because you're a woman in a men's industry, kind of.
Sure.
It's always been that way.
Yeah.
But you don't go this far. So, Mike, play that tape. Oh, my gosh.
I'm married to someone average. I don't post a lot about them. If I was married to someone beautiful, I'd overpost too. You know who lets me know my marriage is falling apart? My mom. No, I did things in Miami I haven't even told my husband because it's just I had that much fun. It was, but not like that. But like I knew he would judge the kind of partying I was doing. I don't know what got into me. I just remember being down there acting like it was my last day on earth. It's for 12 days. I'm not going to sleep. I'm not going to eat. My family's going to hate me. My husband's going to threaten divorce. But we've signed up for this, and we're getting divorced at the end of the year. We've never been more disconnected in our lives. Our text messages look like two robots.
Love you. Any of that? Love you. Love you too.
No, not even an emoji. And so the night before my wedding, I remember Jimmy was great. He made like a funny joke like, hey, it's the night before your wedding. You sure you want to do this? And I'm thinking like, of all the people in my life that I'm going to talk to the night before my wedding, the one guy my dad wanted me to, or my mom wanted me to marry was Jimmy Garoppolo.
I mean, who says that, right?
Nobody I know. Not in public anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I was
might say
talking-
it behind the scenes.
Yeah, I was talking to your wife before the show, and she said, I'd post more pictures of Mike, She didn't say that, but he's just average. I mean, who says that about their spouse?
He's just average. Yeah.
Oh, my God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So the whole thing has gone out of control. I mean, as far as, and especially, I wonder Kraft. He tried to get rid of the story. He sent his two hoodlums down there to have a little talk with them. You know what I mean? And it didn't work.
Yeah.
How many stories has Kraft squashed over the years?
That we don't know about.
Yes. I mean, the Patriots has had a lot of guys in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh yeah.
How many other stories don't we know about?
I'm sure there's more than a few.
Yeah.
More than a few.
So I think the big problem now is, damage control. Now Russini's out there. This is sexism. They're out to get me and this and that. But I don't see it as that. I mean, with her job, she had a lot of influence.
I want to talk a little bit about, out there in the social media, a lot of women are crying foul here. It's a double standard. Of course, the man gets away with murder. He doesn't lose his job, and the woman loses her job. Now, she didn't get fired, but she resigned because she knew she was going to be fired. But I don't think so. I think it's two different things here. It's apples and oranges. Russini, she used this affair to enhance her career. And there's rumors that in the past that she's done this sort of thing to get the story. Now, I was talking to my son-in-law, who's a reporter for the Times, and she said, there's no way she would resign from an $800,000 a year job.
$1.5 million.
Well, he was saying it's $800,000, whatever. But it's a lot of money. She's not going to resign from something like that, And so in Vrabel's case, hey, look, it was two consenting adults, right? I mean, they didn't break any laws, right? Was it morally wrong? Well, since when does the NFL care about morals, right?
Right.
I mean, they have their players are in the news all the time, driving 120 miles in a Lamborghini. You know, they're getting caught bringing their guns into nightclubs, strip joints, and airplanes. They're beating
Domestic abuse.
They're beating up their girlfriends and wives, and they just get slapped on the hand. You think this comes across Goodell's desk? He's going to say, what do you want me to do with this?
Well, the NFL said they're not investigating it.
No, it's a personal issue. They didn't break any laws, right?
Right. And the thing with Russini, her contract was up in the summer.
June.
Right. So I think how the conversation went, listen, we want this to die out. You resign, we're going to give you a good severance package because we're not renewing your contract anyways. Because think about it, they would have already done it if they were going to do it because it's only a few months away. So she was gone anyways, and they probably said, let's just get out of this cleanly.
Right.
We're going to give you the severance package. We'll pay you till the end of your contract. And don't say anything bad about us. And then have a nice life.
Yeah.
That's how I think it went.
Well, I think it'll go away. Although there's a reporter from USA Today, Chrissy Floyd.
Yeah, she got fired.
She got fired because she made a statement about Russini. Yeah, I need a drink of water, man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, what she said was when she first started out in media, they're like, before Russini worked at the Athletic,
Yeah.
they were going to have Russini, mentor this woman. And she said, no way. I know the way she does business. And she even talked about one story where Sean McVay, who now is the coach of the LA Rams, was an assistant with the Washington Commanders. And Russini and this other woman, both reporters, were both having an affair with Sean McVay. And they ended up in a fist fight in an Applebee's parking lot. And this woman from the USA Today brought it up and said, this is an instance of, where she's been doing this for 6, 7, 8 years. I don't do that. I don't.
So she's giving women, legitimate women in the industry, a bad name.
So what they did was they fired her for posting information like that.
Only at Applebee's.
Unbelievable. But I mean, the USA Today, do they even print that newspaper anymore? I don't even know. I mean, used to go.
I used to stay at a hotel, at my door.
I'm not sure they even do that anymore.
That's
Yeah.
the only time I ever saw it.
So that's another casualty of this. You can't speak out because the NFL owns everything, okay? This Bob Kraft thing you didn't even know about that yesterday because it wasn't on ESPN, it wasn't in the local papers. You have to kind of go outside the NFL umbrella and you have to go outside the Boston media because this story has tried to be so buttoned up.
I had to go to you because you get the inside.
Right, but I'm just saying there's certain media outlets that will not report this stuff because it's the NFL is king, and this puts a black eye on the NFL.
Oh yeah.
So finally, speaking of that, Mike Vrabel took him 14 days to come out and make a second statement. The first one he said, "Oh, this is utterly ridiculous," and that was his thing in the Post. Now Mike, play this video. It took him 14 days in order for Mike Vrabel to come out of hiding. So Vrabel's like the freaking groundhog. You know what I mean? Did we see his shadow?
Yeah.
14 days. Ridiculous. You know what I mean? He should have been out in front of this story. And as you said, I don't want to be the story. I've had some tough conversations with my family and friends. Basically he's saying, he finally owned up to it. In that statement right there. Where before he was like, nope, nope, nope. And you know what? If you did it, like Telly Savalas used to say,
own it.
if you do the crime, you got to pay the time. No, that was Beretta back in the 70s.
Beretta.
Don't do the crime if you can't pay the time.
Yeah.
So don't shack up in a hotel if you can't handle the fallout from it.
Right.
So there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
So I've lost a lot of respect for him. It was going to be a what's bugging Hammah, but I don't have all day.
I'd like to know what's on the cutting room floor because you know that 14 days. They went through so many different scenarios. I'm sure he had people coaching him and everything, and it came down to that 2.5. I mean, we saw a shorter version of it just now.
Yeah.
But there's actually a 2.5 minute statement. But how much was left on the floor there that let's throw that in. No, that can't go in. That can't go in. That can't go in. Right.
Right.
Toss it.
I mean, they blew the story from the very beginning.
Yeah.
By coming out right away,
Yeah.
trying to squash the story with Kraft, the crisis managers, the stupid statements each of them had when they had nothing to back it up. They should have not even done a damn thing. Think about it. I think, really, if you posted those pictures and Vrabel and Russini didn't say a word about it, I don't think the story would have took off. Because then it would have been like, this is a tabloid just posting these pictures. And there's probably other people around there, you know what I mean, that were not in the picture of those two.
Yeah.
It might have went away. They might have got away with it.
It might have, but I don't know. I don't know if it got away, but they definitely put fuel on the fire there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Vrabel, I blame him the most for saying, it's laughable.
It's not laughable.
There was other people with us, and for anyone to think otherwise is laughable. Right then, you're like, slap him with a glove, the reporter. He's like, okay, I'll show you how laughable it is.
How the mighty have fallen. I mean, who isn't in love after the season that the Patriots have? Who wasn't in love with Mike Vrabel? Hugging the players, going into the locker room and just talking glowingly about him and the team performing like it did.
It makes me think we got sold a bill of goods. He might be a con man.
Yeah, but they're not.
He's a coward because he didn't come out for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't own up to it.
No.
And, all these players he supposedly loves, most of the free agents have all left, I don't know. I just think that you lost us. You lost me.
All right.
Well, in an hour, let's just assume he does on the football field.
Well, okay, let me ask you a question. You still want him as your football coach?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still want him as a football coach, but I don't want him preaching to me, about family and friends and all this crap when he did that to your family. So don't preach to me that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
He's going to have to tone down that rhetoric big time.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's all I got.
All right.
I'm going to do a What's Bugging Hammah.
Okay.
And most people...
I thought you just did.
There's a lot that's bugging me this week, man. Like I said, the only thing that's the only thing that's good is the A's being in first. Oh, shit, there goes the microphone.
That's all right.
just
You
put
don't need a microphone.
I don't need a microphone. What's Bugging Hammah? Okay, in past years, we've had wrestlers on and stuff to promote WrestleMania. We didn't do that this year because wrestling has gone down the toilet. Because in 2023, September 2023, a group bought the WWE from the McMahon family, and it was TKO Sports, which does the MMA, boxing, and all kinds of crazy stuff. Since then, what has this group done to wrestling? They've totally ruined it. They've doubled the ticket prices at least, if not more. Now you can't watch it on free TV anymore. You have to watch it on Netflix, or there's a new ESPN Unlimited app. It's like $29.99 if you want to watch any of the pay-per-views.
When could you watch it free? When was that?
It was on USA Network. It was on like Fox Sports. You know what I mean?
Oh, all right.
And they also had their, it was on Peacock. So if you had a Peacock subscription, you would get the WWE for free.
Well, you're still paying for Peacock.
Yeah, but what's Peacock? Like $3.99 a month or whatever. But whatever. So I digress in Hammah's minute.
Go ahead.
All right. So since then, this TKO, they've ruined wrestling because they don't listen to the people. They've had like the biggest following, wrestling fans. I've been a fan forever. But now I'm alienated because they have all these celebrities. Like, they just had Jelly Roll. You know who he is?
I heard the name, but
He's a singer.
I would never know.
He was at WrestleMania. He jumped off a thing and went through a table and beat up a wrestler. I Show Speed, I don't know who he is, some rapper or something. He was in a wrestling match. Pat McAfee, who everyone knows who he is.
I know who he is, yeah.
He was involved too, and it's like, it's no longer about the wrestlers. It's all about who's in the crowd and whatever. Mike, post this real quick. This is how long these matches were the other night. I mean, you're seeing 8-minute matches, 10-minute matches. In the old days, WrestleMania, you have a 20, 25-minute match because you need to tell a story. But, they're all going short matches. And the worst egregious thing of all is, on the Saturday, it was a 2-night extravaganza. And on Saturday night, it was between the second to last match and the last match, there was a 35-minute interruption. Commercials, promotions, and it was like ridiculous how many 35 minutes between matches. Imagine if you're in the crowd and you're just sitting there losing and falling asleep. I'm just saying they've ruined the sports. It was like the other night was, like I said, 6 to 10, 4 hours. There was 1 hour and 35 minutes of actual wrestling action. I'm just disgusted.
Wow.
So that's all I got.
Wow.
And wrestling is now going to be a dying sport because of TKO's involvement.
This show has worn you out today. I can see there's a lot of negativity in the show today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
And I don't even have a negative finger.
Oh my God.
I can wear my negative Red Sox hat if you want.
Yeah.
So let's do a Mike's.
Yeah. Let's cheer this party up, right?
Let's end on a positive note.
Let's get this party started, man. So, like you went on Marathon Monday day, right? The Patriots Day. You went to the Red Sox. Well, I went to the Boston Marathon.
Ooh.
And I had never been before. And I always tell people, I was going to go a few times, but it was always the weather, it was rainy, it was windy, whatever. But basically the reality is, even though I used to run 10Ks and all that sort of thing, I didn't want to go watch a bunch of people run. I didn't think it was this is going to be a boring thing. But boy, was I wrong. I mean, I was surprised that the love that these people along the sidelines give to these runners was unparalleled. I mean, they're just cheering them on. You can do it. You can do it. The first thing, so I go there. It made it easy to go. Is my daughter lives in Coolidge Corner in Brookline. It's like it's like a quarter-mile walk. We're right down there, right? And you're waiting for the elites. Like we're at her apartment, and we're saying, she said, "We gotta go. We gotta go. The elites will be coming." And sure enough, it's like the British were coming. So we get down there. And not 10 minutes later, here comes the first run. First off, you see all these state trooper, like a parade of cars and motorcycles, and then you see the first runner. And this guy's the guy that ended up winning the race, which he said the record for the Boston Marathon. He beat it, I think it was 2014 record by over a minute, which is an enormous amount of time. But Tom, I got to tell you, this guy was running like it was the first mile. He ran sub 5-minute miles for the 26 miles. So everybody's cheering on, and then you wait for the women elite to come through. And then you get the next tier. And I was talking to my son-in-law, the reporter there, and he covers a lot of track and field. I said, where are we at right now? What are these guys going to be finishing at? He said, they're in the 3-hour mark. Now, a 3-hour mark, I knew a couple of guys in the post office that worked for me in Braintree. They ran around 3 hours. You run a marathon in 3 hours, you're a good runner. There was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. It was like, it was just throngs of people. And and then you get the regular runners, and they're struggling a little bit, all shapes and sizes. I saw Chara, the ex-Bruins player, he went right by me. And the people are just cheering him on. Don't stop, you can do it, and they're holding up signs. You're kind of almost there. And it was just like the adrenaline. I was like shocked that and you asked me when we talked about it on the phone, would I go again? Absolutely. I mean, we spent like 2 hours there, like maybe 2 hours, 15 minutes or so. I mean, I wasn't going to stay there for 6-7 hours, but it was enough where it got my adrenaline going, and there was celebrity runners too that made it interesting. It was just a good take. The love that the fans showed these runners was unparalleled. It was great. Wow. I loved it.
What I find amazing is the one was from Kenya, 2 hours and 1 minute, 27.2 miles. You can't even drive your car through Boston and make it in 2 hours. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, no, that's amazing. It's incredible, these athletes, how they can do it and what it does to your body. But the reason why he set that record by over a minute is because perfect day to run.
Great day.
I mean, it was crappy. It was 48. It was cold. It was windy.
But
and they had the wind at their back.
They had a tailwind. When I was standing there, you could feel the wind go by you, and I said, "Oh man, that's at their back," And it was 48 degrees. They said they guess that's ideal.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were running with no shirt on, and mostly men.
Oh, good. You know what wasn't ideal? It was 48 degrees at a baseball game, watching a crappy team. I was freezing my butt off.
But my opinion has changed from the Boston Marathon 100% now.
Nice.
Yeah. It was
That's
great.
a great story.
Yeah, thank you. It was,
all right.
It was a little bit of an upbeat story.
Yeah. So next week, we're going to talk about who the Patriots drafted. We'll talk about the Bruins and Celtics as they continue on their merry way through the playoffs.
Let's hope they get a little bit, the Celtics wake up.
Yep. And then whatever else happens, hopefully this Russini Vrabel story is finally dead. I mean, I'm so sick of it. It's like digging into all this crap.
Yeah, we can make a decision right now. We're just not going to talk about it anymore. Can we do that?
We're not going to talk about it.
We're just not going to.
We're not talking about it.
We're not talking about it. They're dead to us.
This isn't the New York
Dead to
Post.
us.
All right. All right. So if you like, subscribe.
Thanks, folks.
We'll see you next week.